Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Madness, madness, they call it madness. Madness, madness, they call it madness.
John's in Croydon. John, what would you like to say?
James, good morning. I had to turn off and talk to you because you've just made me so angry this morning, and I can't understand. I'm a big fan of yours about how you've got Brexit so wrong. But people don't seem to understand how negotiating works. You go in hard, you threaten all sorts of things, and you come out with a deal.
And if you don't get a deal, if you don't, John, hang on a minute, because this is, I think, perhaps what you don't understand about me. You go in really, really hard, you threaten all sorts, and you come out with a deal. What if you don't? What do you go back to if there's no deal?
Okay, let me tell you why there will be
please answer my question first.
Well, I'm trying to answer it.
So because you're comparing the Brexit negotiations to other negotiations, and I think that's a valid position to begin from. But what you have to do to sustain that comparison is to tell me what happens in other negotiations when you walk away. What do you walk back to?
Well, that's the second thing I wanted to say, but can I just say...
No, I just want you to answer my question first, John, because I'm trying to make you less cross. So when you're having these negotiations that you're comparing Brexit to, and you walk away from the negotiations, because as you say, that is the threat that you use as a lever to soften the position of the people you're negotiating with. When you walk away from all of the other negotiations that you're referring to, what do you walk back to?
Okay, this is the plan that you are asking for, okay?
Are you going to answer my question or not?
No, I am. I don't want a no deal. It'll be a disaster for everybody.
That's not an answer to the question I asked. What do you walk back to? Every other negotiation, whether you're buying a car or a house or whether you're opening a new factory, what do you revert to when you walk away from the negotiations?
Okay, you revert to a situation where you can do your own deal with every country around the world.
No, you don't. When you walk away from a negotiation, in all ordinary circumstances, you revert back to exactly where you were before the negotiation started. So you go back to your old house. You have the trading arrangements that were in place before the negotiation started. You keep your old car. We walk away from Brexit with no deal. We are the only country on the planet that has no trading arrangement in place with any other trading partner.
Okay, James, we are. It's not the same because we are leaving the EU. So you can't say that no deal means we go back to where we are now.
Exactly, which is why you can't compare the EU negotiations to any other negotiation, which is why your central beginning point has already fallen to pieces. But tell me what it is I don't understand.
Well, first of all, there will be a deal because the EU has a 90 to 100 billion pound trade surplus with the UK. So when the boss of Mercedes phones Merkel...
Oh, my God, we're doing the German car company. You're not doing the German car companies, John.
Well, but because they're going to say to Angela...
I'm being rude.
Do you want us to make 10,000 people redundant? Okay. That's why they'll do a deal, because they've got millions of jobs dependent on the 90 billion pound trade surplus with the UK.
Okay.
And the other thing about the EU is they only ever do deals at 1 minute to midnight on the 29th of March.
The Japanese deal has taken 5 years.
Well,
it was completed. But you keep saying things that are really easy to prove wrong.
Well, how can you prove it wrong?
It took 5 years to do.
Well, and I'll tell you what, that's why it's going to be so good to come out, because every time they do it...
So now we're not claiming that they do it all in the last couple of minutes. We're saying it's good that we're coming out because it takes so long. So literally, John, you've rung in to explain to me what it is that I don't understand, and in the space of 30 seconds, you've gone from saying the deals are always done at the very, very last minute. I point out, actually, they take a really long time, and you come back and say, oh, well, that's a good reason for leaving then. They take a really long time. I have barely contributed to this conversation, and you've just completely contradicted yourself.
No, you're talking about a political negotiation.
Oh, my days.
Which is different from a trade negotiation.
We can't even begin the trade negotiation until the political negotiation is finished.
Yes, but there are reasons to do with the trade surplus and so on, where it will be It will be suicide. The EU will do a deal on Ireland because...
What will it look
they've
like?
Got a 90... Sorry?
What will the deal be? What works?
I don't know. I won't be party to the negotiations.
But what is a deal that can simultaneously observe single market exit and the requirements of the Good Friday Agreement? Because, John, it doesn't exist. So you can tell me... No, John, you've just done it again. You've just done it again. You've just said to me, this thing will happen. I've proved to you and shown to you why it can't, and now you're just saying, I believe that it will. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know who's going to do it. I don't know how it's going to happen. But I'm supremely confident that it will happen.
But in any negotiation, you trade concessions.
Oh, but we've already established, the first thing we established was that this negotiation is like no other, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you say in any negotiation you do X, that is already a busted flush of a point.
But you're assuming that the EU won't move and won't soften. They will. I mean, we have gone in much too softly with them.
But you can keep saying these things. It doesn't make them true. You're familiar with what the German car industry has said about the prospect of a no-deal Brexit in October of last year.
Well, it's obvious what's going to happen. If we are their biggest exporter...
No, I'm asking if you know what they've said, the Federation of German Industries.
I don't know precisely.
Well, then you're very lucky, because I can tell you, after 4 rounds of negotiations, German industry looks with concern at the progress of the Brexit negotiations. The British government is lacking a clear concept, despite talking a lot, and they urged their members to prepare for what they call an off-the-cliff Brexit. That is the Confederation of German Industry. The head of the German automotive industry said something very similar 3 months previously. German companies with a presence in Britain and Northern Ireland must now make provisions for the serious case of a very hard exit. Anything else would be naive. This is the German business that you say is going to stop Angela Merkel from continuing on the path that she's on. The people you're saying are going to do that, they publicly say the precise opposite, John. The precise opposite of what you think is what they're actually saying.
Yeah, but I don't think they are thinking about no deal. They are assuming that sensible heads will get round the table and a deal will be done. And I'll have a bet with you, James.
John, they're not, mate. You need to listen to the German companies with a presence in Britain and Northern Ireland must now make provisions for the serious case of a very hard exit. Anything else would be naive. The aim of the task force is to identify, this is what they've set up, the people that you think are going to put the brakes on Brexit. The aim of the task force is to identify potential and acute risks arising from Britain's departure and to present constructive proposals for solutions. Airbus, Deutsche Bank, all of these companies are on the same page, and you're still clinging to the idea that they're somehow going to be able to conjure up a unicorn-flavoured trade agreement because they're frightened of losing British business. Where have you been for the last 2 years?
Okay, let's agree to disagree about...
No, this isn't agreeing to disagree. That would be like saying, let's agree to disagree about whether it's raining or not outside. Put your head out of the window, John, feel the rain on your head, and then come back inside and say, well, let's agree to disagree about whether or not it's raining. These are all facts. You rang me to say German industry won't let X happen. I have shown you German industry is already preparing for X happening. So we can't agree to disagree any more than we could agree to disagree about whether the moon is made of cheese or moon rock. You stick to believing it's made of cheese. I'm never going to agree to disagree because I know it's made of moon rock.
Can I just tell you what I think will happen if a no deal happens?
If you must.
Okay? People assume that we're falling off a cliff. But there's a wonderful article in the Sunday Times colour mag by our chief negotiator about all the deals that we're going to be able to do when we're free.
Yeah.
The EU, every time it tries to do a deal, which is always goods-orientated, has to take into account the slowest country of the 27. When we are free, we can do service-based deals, which are our great strength. We have the world's spoken language, we have the world's computer language, we have the most...
Well, we had all of that before we left. You're really sitting here telling me that a Brexit benefit is that people speak English.
I know you like facts, James, so let me give you 2 facts.
Go on then, John.
1.8% of insurance premiums in the world are done in India. but they are 18% of the world's population.
Yeah.
And it's very similar in China.
Yeah, that changes everything.
Doing services.
That changes everything.
We'll be able to do deals in China and India that we currently cannot do, which are done by us by the EU, who are not.
Why is German trade with China 5 times more than ours?
I don't know. I don't know.
But you told me we can't, as an EU company, we can't do trade with China on that kind of scale. Why is Germany doing it?
Manufacturing.
Why is Germany doing it? Why is Germany doing 5 times more trade than us?
Because it's manufacturing deals, which we're not strong at. 80% of our economy is...
But we can do, if they can do manufacturing deals, John, we can do service deals. So why is Germany doing 5 times more trade than us?
Well, we can't
Yes, we
do
can.
service deals because the EU do it on our behalf.
No, they don't.
Singapore has 3 times...
No, John, but you're saying things that aren't true again.
They are true.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Have a great weekend.